What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live.
Hello, world. I am a rocker tonight, as you can see.
And I'm a nerd. I got my little boots.
Are you acting? Because that's your normal outfit.
That's my normal.
This is your normal little dweeb. Nerds.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Turning the Tipplers Loose, where we have drinks and talk crap
about good, bad, ugly, stupid, slow people.
No, that is not true. Where did you get that from? We talk crap over drinks about all kind of stuff. Now, some people are slow, but I'm just saying.
I didn't say the R word.
You know what?
You know that's the word. That's like an untouchable
yes,
word.
You cannot say that word.
Retarded?
Oh my gosh. We're getting canceled. All right, guys. Welcome again. My name is Leah.
And I am the legendary rocker. You had a cat. You supposed to say, my name is Leah.
My name is Leah. And happy Halloween. One of our favorite holidays.
I mean, our favorite holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like
Other
a
than
top
birthdays.
three. It's like,
okay.
It's like, okay. My top three would be, who? Okay, got St. Patrick's Day is number one.
Okay.
Halloween number two, and Christmas.
Okay, Christmas is like man for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more birthdays third, and it doesn't have to be my birthday, anybody's birthday.
Oh yeah, I love birthdays too now.
Yeah.
But Christmas, the whole season.
St. Patrick's Day is for drinking. That's why it's number one.
Thank God good. That's what we praise the liquor gods.
All right, guys. Thank y'all again for joining us. What's up, South Carolina Rap Guy? We welcome you to the Tipplers. We appreciate your presence in the building. Look, I was listening to his rap on his YouTube. He got some lines on there.
Okay,
we'll
I mean, how them bars?
Them bars.
Bars spitting?
We'll listen to those bars later. Again, guys, welcome. This is the time that you need to share what?
The hell out of this.
You need to share the hell out of this while we go ahead and play this theme song, and then we're going to get into some good stuff. Let's hit it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do a rock. Oh,
Tipplers loose on a Monday. Let's make it oh so fun day. Drinking, talking, laughing, tripping out. That's what the Tipplers are all about. Pour your drink, sit back and relax. Right here Monday, 7:30 is where it's at. Talking the topics. Come on, let's go. Let's dive in. Enjoy the show.
I couldn't do that for too low. That'd make my voice go away.
Okay, we acting up.
Already.
Turn the Tipplers. Get it, y'all.
We don't see each other for multiple days at a time. We normally act really wonky.
That's true. We haven't seen each other since what, last Monday?
I think so.
Last Monday.
Look, y'all, she was calling me the other night on video chat. Half a bra. I see all this. I was like, what you call me like this?
You are like.
Oh, the only difference is I actually called her.
I can't. First of all, these Negroes, they calling somebody at 12, 1 o'clock at night. I'm looking at the phone like, okay. Of course, I'm naked in my bed with the blanket on. I don't sleep with no clothes on. Every time I do the show, people know this. I don't like clothes, okay? Mm-hmm. I will walk around naked if it wasn't for the kids. But I stay in my room.
That's what made the kids.
Well,
walking around naked.
That's true.
Producer saw that he couldn't take it. He pounced on you.
As soon as I come in the house, everything come up. Pow, pow, pow. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. Everything off. So, of course, if you call me, I'm under the covers and I'm naked. So that's what you get. Okay? I'm not showing you nothing, but you're going to see. You're going to know that I'm naked. Okay. Again, y'all, welcome to Turning the Tipplers Loose. And so, we got a couple announcements. And then I see that our special guest is in the wings. But we're going to get these announcements out the way. So we are going on a semi-tour starting on November the 16th at a wonderful place called Bang Back Bang Back Pinball Lounge, not a ping pong, pinball. You know that old school joint where you sit there and you be like ding 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 ding. Yeah, Pinball Lounge in Columbia on Saluda Avenue. He's a really great guy. He has a lot of personality.
Awesome, yeah.
He has a great business, to be honest with you. Great business model. We'll be there live on the 16th, which is a Monday at 7:30. We'll be giving away stuff, okay? Liquor bottles. Like last time we did a in-person thing, we gave away liquor mini bottles. We gave away chocolate. We gave away gift certificates. Like we were giving away all kind of stuff. And
we pouring free drinks. We can't do that this time.
Well, no, we getting drunk enough, you might get a free drink or two. But they're going to have a special drink alert, especially for us. It's called the Tipplers Tilt. So all the proceeds will go. Well, I lied.
The $2.
A portion of the sales will go to us. So guys, come and support and drink the Tipplers Tilt. Let me tell you, I've been drinking.
I can't wait to taste it.
I can't wait to taste it either. I told them make it like us, strong yet spicy and got personality.
And a little bit of something in there you can't quite put your finger on.
Right, but you like it.
Yeah, you like it. Like,
so that's us.
I like hanging out with them, but boy, they got the most people say we got the devil in us. Normally what we're told, like, y'all some sinners.
Another announcement, y'all. We're gonna have Dominatrix Mercedes, aka Blondie Got Perks. Okay, I like that. On November the 23rd, and she's gonna tell us about her dom life, what she does. She's gonna give us some tips. We're gonna talk about the different types of doms because I didn't realize they're like a whole lot of levels to this. Like, I'm like, I can't be a dom. I can't boss somebody around, but I can do some other stuff. I can be a mommy dom. Hello. Did you eat today?
Which would be crazy, but I could see it like especially a mama's boy. That mama might be dead or something. Would love somebody.
See, that's what I'm saying. A dom like that. Just just want to make you do stuff, but not mean. I don't want to be mean. I want to be like a ball cruncher. Like, I think that would be painful. I would try it though.
What you say, produce?
Yeah, some comments in here. What's up, peeps? All right, so yes, Dominatrix Mercedes, aka Blondie Got Perks, November 23rd. All right, so what time is it? Okay,
it is.
So
drinking time.
Drinking time. What are we drinking?
All right, we are both drinking some Weller's, which is a really good whiskey, 90 proof, very good. With some, you got bold in yours too, which is like my favorite ginger ale. Like, Lord, I love it. Like, the tingling go up in your nasal cavity. And you can feel in your stomach bouncing around all that gingery spiciness or whatever, but it's so great. So good. But yeah, that's what we're drinking right now. We'll change it up in a little bit, I'm sure, because this bottle ain't got but a little one drink left in that night. But beyond that.
Yep. I mean, I love Weller's. The liquor store saved that especially for me because they know I'm a connoisseur of whiskey and bourbon. They said, look, when I came in there to buy some other stuff, they're like, look, I saved this bottle. Matter of fact, it's bad when you got the owner of the liquor store messaging you on Facebook. Hey, we got that liquor in.
Lord. So did he get elk first? Elk?
No, not yet. But he did get, because the Crown Peach is on special. I mean, is a scarce right now.
Yeah.
So he messaged me like, hey, tell your husband we got that Crown Peach. I was like, thanks. Like, I wasn't expecting.
But that's the kind of friend you need, though.
That's the kind of liquor store owner. That's why I'm gonna support him.
Who doesn't want a friend that owns the liquor store?
Then he asked me how many bottles you want me to see.
Oh my gosh! Lord. Exactly.
I mean, that's like how convenient would it be? Like, because I love to break laws and don't get caught, and I'm not one who like to get caught. But how good would it be like on Sunday? I should have got a bottle of liquor yesterday, but I can. Hey, Leah, you give me the key to your store so I can get a bottle out of there,
like, sure,
and I'll pay you back Monday.
Sure, buddy, cash everything. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, Ranger McDanger, welcome. South Carolina Rap God, welcome. Again, share this with your peeps, especially if you're in the poly community. This is our non-monogamous community because there's a lot of branches to that. This should be a very, very fun and informative show for you.
So non-monogamous is like the branch that all of them come off because they more than one partner.
I basically to sum it up, but we'll talk about it once she comes on. An interesting fact before she comes on. So I followed her page and, I was following her for a while and she was like putting all these great tips on there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And out of the blue, I was just like, look, I've been following you for a while. Would you mind being on our show? Check it out. She agreed. I was like, cool. And then one day me and my husband was laying in the bed.
After y'all had sex?
Boy, laying in the bed, maybe. We were laying in the bed and I don't know. We watched this documentary called Poly Love. And I'm like, wait a minute. And this was just recently, no joke. I was like, wait a minute, this person looks familiar. And I was like, oh my God. So it kind of all came together. I didn't even realize, the connection.
Yeah.
But that's how things are like purpose and destined to work out the way that it's supposed to. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Hello, Tasha. Thank you. So we're gonna bring her on. So first, before she come on, I normally, I know I read a little,
you do a bio.
I do a bio.
I have been told you have the best bio.
I do.
Yeah, someone told me that.
Somebody told you that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I wish I had the best bio now because it slipped away from me. I don't know where it went. That's and I'm normally well prepared.
How about Steve Rogan prepares? Something has to go wrong.
Something always goes wrong, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. Okay, guys. So we're going to introduce our special guest. So her name is, and I hope I don't jack this up, Evita Lavitaloca Sawyers. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. She's a personal coach specializing in relationship dynamics and non-monogamy. She's a Polyam Educator, speaker, teacher. She's Black. She's queer. She's a womanist. Guys, let's bring her on and welcome.
Bring her out. Bring her out.
I wish I had some music.
Bring her out. Bring her out. Bring her out. Bring her out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. Look, we're a little wacky, okay?
It's okay. Does my sound sound fine?
Yeah, you can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. Wonderful.
We're a little wacky. Once we start drinking, you never know what's going to happen, but we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
That's the main goal in the end. We're going to have fun.
Absolutely. So, since you're coming on, tell us a little bit about you. And I summed it up, but I really want to know from your mouth about what you do, what your end goal is, and why you decided to not necessarily become poly, because we'll get into that, to be the advocate on that side.
So I've been ethically non-monogamous now for going on 8 years, actually. It'll be 8 years in 2021. And when I first started, we started with swinging, which was very easy for me. It wasn't a challenge at all, but polyamory was a lot different and it was hard. And I had a lot of emotional struggles. And at that time, the community was very much online. So in Facebook groups and forums and things of that nature. And there was this taboo around talking about the ways in which, you know, polyamory was uncomfortable or challenging, or if you were dealing with jealousy. And all these people were in these groups and they were talking about all these like wonderful experiences that they were having in polyamory. And I was just like, that is just not my experience at all. Like, this is hard. It's challenging. I'm having to grow in a lot of ways and stretch, you know, my thought processes in a lot of ways that are really uncomfortable and aren't like easily able to do just on a whim. Like, as soon as something happens, it's not like natural for you to just shift into the other thought that you need to think. You know, it takes a lot of like kind of like self-work and sort of self-examination to find those reframes, those mental reframes. And so I just began to talk about the issues that I was having. Even though I would get backlash or it was kind of this taboo thing, but it began to resonate with people to where they were like, you know, I feel the same way too, but I just didn't want to be honest about it, or I didn't want to talk about it. And I realized through that I possess this really unique ability to really be able to articulate these emotions in ways that people can kind of understand. So I would say something and someone would be like, that's what I was feeling, but I didn't know how to say it. You know, I didn't have the language for it. And so it's just started with my friends. So they would come to me when they had problems. I need to talk to you about this, that, or different people in groups that I knew would reach out to me and, you know, say, hey, can you help me out with this issue or that issue? And so then I was like, well, maybe this is something I could actually do for people, because I would have appreciated having someone in the beginning to sort of help me through that transition from being monogamous to non-monogamous, or, you know, to help me out if I'm dealing with a new situation that I hadn't experienced. And so I began to offer myself up as a coach so people can come to me and go, hey, I'm having a problem with this thing, or my partner is going out with this new person and I'm really struggling with it. And I kind of sit and just help them kind of work through those emotions and those thoughts, give them different perspectives, validate their feelings. And yeah, so.
Okay, so for people that don't understand, because even my cohort here asked what non-monogamy was and what's this. So can you kind of explain to our audience what non-monogamy is, and maybe kind of get into what poly is a little bit as well?
Yeah. So non-monogamy is just basically the opposite of monogamy. So monogamy is you're exclusive with one person. That's the person that you're with. They're exclusive with you, or at least you hope they are. And you've agreed, right? And you've agreed that the two of you are going to remain exclusive to each other in this very particular way. So you're not going to entertain people, usually emotionally, sexually, in any of these other ways. Non-monogamy is just the opposite of that. So you're not exclusive to one person. That one person is generally not exclusive to you, although there are relationships where one person is mono and the other person isn't. But usually a person is non-monogamous. That just means that they engage multiple people romantically at the same time. Now, ethical non-monogamy is that person is open and honest about that with the other people that they're involved with. So non-monogamy is just you're not with one person, and but there are people that aren't ethical about that. So that's where you get your cheaters, etc. Ethical non-monogamy is everyone involved is aware, and in agreement that you are not going to be exclusive to them in these ways. And that's an umbrella term, ethical non-monogamy, because there's different kinds of ethical non-monogamy. So there's swinging, which is just recreational sex. You have open relationships, which are usually a little bit more casual. So you're not really developing lasting bonds with people. It's more like, hey, if you go out of town, you meet somebody at a bar, that's okay. Or, you might grab a drink with a coworker and kind of spend the night at their place or whatever. But you're not like trying to develop partnerships with people. You're just kind of casually dating outside of your primary relationship is usually how that works. Then you have polyamory, which is the focus on having multiple romantic relationships. So these are usually people that have multiple partnerships. So they have multiple relationships they're in for a while. They generally involve love feelings, or that's the goal. And then you have this kind of like gray area of non-monogamy called like don't ask, don't tell, to where this person is kind of like, as long as I don't find out about what you're doing, I'm not going to ask. And so that, the way I say that's a gray area is because technically it's ethical because both people have agreed to do that, but it's very hard for the other person to sort of verify that is your agreement in your relationship. So a lot of times people will say that that's their relationship agreement when it's not, and then, it blows up.
So let me ask you a quick question about that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because, when you're kind of in and out the poly world, you see maybe that's the biggest problem. So it's like, let's say you're in that category to where you may want to get to know someone and they say, well, yeah, I'm poly or I'm open or whatever. And how can you trust that this person is telling the truth? How do you know that? Because you do have some situations where, like you said, maybe the other person doesn't really want to know the details.
Yeah.
But then you have some where they want to meet you. They want to get to know you. How do you navigate this? Because this person can be definitely unethical. And then things start getting, complicated. You get into fights. They call you home wrecker. You break up homes, things of that nature. So how do you navigate that world?
Me, myself personally, I don't interact with people who I can't at least do a check-in with their partners to say, hey, I just need to know that you know that I'm here and I'm here in this specific way. So we don't have to interact. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to kick it. But I need to be able to verify with that person that they are aware that their partner has other partners in this specific way and that they're on board with that, even if they kind of just don't want to or experience it or interact with it. So I just don't date people personally that is their setup. And once somebody tells me that, I'm immediately like, because, and they could very much be telling the truth and that's totally fine. But that doesn't work for me. So I don't date people that have that. If you date someone or you're open to that, I feel like that's just one of the risks that you take in assuming, that kind of relationship, because you can't verify with the other person that it's okay. So you could very well find yourself in a position to where like you haven't, I've known people that's happened to them to where they thought that, that's what the agreement that their partner had. And then they're getting phone calls from someone saying, you ruined my marriage and blah, 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 blah. So that does happen. And so that's just the risk you take if you do choose to engage with people who that's their setup. But me, I just don't. As soon as someone tells me that, I'm like, oh, no, you don't work for me in that way. And then we're done.
I get it. Okay. So I think you talked about swinging, open, polyamory. Okay. So this is the question I had when I was kind of looking it up and doing my research here. So you have ethical and consensual. They sound the same to me. So
I feel like they're the same too. I don't know why they're becoming interchangeable. So I couldn't like fully answer that because I've always heard them used interchangeably, ethical and consensual. Because consensual just means that, well, actually, so no. So this is actually a difference I could probably like say is maybe the difference between ethical and consensual non-monogamy. So you could be ethical in your non-monogamy by letting everyone know that you have other people, but that does not mean that everybody consents to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that means that there are some people that could be like, I don't like that you do this. This is a problem for me. I'm going on record to say that I am not in agreement with this at all. I just don't want to break up with you because I love you, care about you, whatever. And they stay with the person, but they're not happy about them being non-monogamous at all.
So the ethical part is you just acknowledging, hey, this is what I want to do.
Right. But everybody knowing. You're not going behind anybody's back to do anything. Everyone knows that you're interacting with other people in these ways. Consensual is more like, I know that you're with other people and I agree to that, you know, so I agree that you're going to be doing that. Like, I'm not, you know, I don't have an issue with that, or I'm not fighting against that.
Gotcha. Okay. Because when I was looking both of them up, I'm like, this sounds a little similar.
But it makes sense now
like that we broke it down. Yeah, you were going to say something?
Oh, no, I was saying what you were saying, but we said at the same time. You're trying to steal my thoughts sometimes.
I'm sorry. So, for people.
So, how loud you got to get?
I have a big mouth and I'm loud naturally, okay? You know what? He messes with me all the time. So for people that may not quite understand this, they're in a monogamy type of mentality to say, well, look, this is what I like. I want one person. I want to be with one person, married to one person, having sex with one person. How would you present non-monogamy to them to help them understand the reasoning behind it?
Well, so this is actually an interesting question for me because I don't live my life trying to help people understand me. So I'm very, very, very comfortable with people not understanding me and my choices. So like, if someone just doesn't understand something, I'm usually like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Then you don't have to do it, but I'm going to, you know? So I think all I need people to understand is that I'm an autonomous adult capable of making my own choices, and they don't have to understand them. However, to answer the actual question, it's just a different relationship model. So some people just feel the necessity or feel the desire or the drive to only have one person. I don't. So, and it really is, neither one is good or bad. They're just different. So you only want to interact with one person in that way. And that's all that resonates with you. And that's fine. I just don't feel the same way. So, and that's really is all that I would be able to tell someone is it's just the same thing like sexuality. Like, you know what I mean? That people are attracted to different things. And it's, you know, it's just different. It's not good or bad or worse or better. It's just different.
So my point of view, to kind of piggyback off of that, I feel like people feel like there's no other option at times. You know, this is the way that it's programmed in me. This is the way that I saw it done. This is the way that I was raised. This is the way I believe religiously, maybe. You know, we can go down a whole list of things.
I'm pretty sure in America, religion has
probably plays a big part in it. But then yet in the Bible, there were men in there that had multiple wives. But that's
right.
That's illegal these days.
I'm just well, it ain't illegal to have a boo thing. I'm just saying. So, you know, I think that it's more like they are programmed to see it in this way, and they feel like they can't do it in another way. Perfect example. I think that people rather cheat than do it ethically.
Yeah, it's very strange. And we don't practice conscious monogamy because you hit the ground running and you're told that you're monogamous, even though centuries of relationship data has shown that human beings are not monogamous creatures. Not that like we're non-monogamous entirely, because I definitely believe that there are monogamous people that just don't have a desire to, be with more than one person. But human beings as a species, we're not a monogamous species. Like, we're just not. So you hit the ground running and you're told that you're monogamous, and we don't really practice conscious monogamy of going like, there are these options here, so I could be non-monogamous. I'm just not really that interested in it. Mm-hmm. So it's weird how people, like you said, would rather cheat, or they'd rather break up their relationship to get with this new person because they're like, well, if I develop these feelings for this other person, then that means that my relationship with this first person is no good. And rather than kind of examining if monogamy is what the problem is, you know what I mean? Is it that they're just not monogamous? But I think that
it always seemed like a just what going off what you're talking about. Cheating is more of a, I don't want to say a possession thing, but I think people cheat to it's more of a thrill.
Okay.
I wouldn't think
there's a thrill to it. I think there's a thrill of being caught, you know, the kind of sneaking around, the excitement of it. So I do think there are people that are attached to the thrill. I also think that there are people that they don't want to bring it out into the open. Number one, because they just don't want to be judged by their partner. Because usually if you bring that to your partner's like, you know, we're done. No, you know, I don't want to do this. And also what I noticed too is a lot of people are fine with non-monogamy when it's them doing it, but when it's their partners doing it, they have all kinds of issues, you know? So like,
talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, talk about it. Go ahead. However you're going to talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that when we think about the concept of non-monogamy and being non-monogamous, we think about what we're going to do. You know, we're like, oh, I'm going to get to go on these dates, I'm going to interact with these people, and I'm going to get to, you know, whatever. But we don't usually think our partners are going to be doing the same thing. And so I remember I was doing a podcast with someone, and I was like, if I could like perfectly craft, like if I was like totally egoic and narcissistic, and I could like perfectly craft like my experience, I would be non-monogamous and I would have multiple partners, but all of my partners would be monogamous to me. Like, you know, and they would be like, you are just the most amazing person in the world, and there's no one else that can light a candle to you. And I know that you just have so much love that you have to give it to all these other people, and I'm totally okay with that. But I only have eyes for you. Like in my perfect, like egoic world, that would work because I wouldn't deal with any jealousies because my partners would all just, you know, be looking at me. But the reality is that your partners are going to be doing other things too. And a lot of times I don't think people stop and think about that, you know, until it's happening. And then they're like, oh, this is really uncomfortable. This is really scary. This feels really threatening. And then it's like, oh, like my partners are going to be doing these things too. So I think that also plays into why people don't want to be open about it, because it's like, okay, well, if I'm open, you know, then that means my partner is going to be open too. And the thought of their partner doing something with someone else, it just, you know, it drives them crazy.
And see, that's what I think is majority of people in general. I think because even if you see somebody like I see, like I always talk about Charlize Theron, sexiest woman in the world, that'd be my past. But hey, I can sleep with her if I ever get the chance because that's my past. So it's kind of like the same thing you're saying. Like I would be okay sleeping with her, but I'm not around here searching for women to sleep with. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's more like, for instance, like let's say you know you went to your girlfriend and you say, this is what I'm thinking about. All right. I want to be poly or non-monogamous. I want to explore that. I want to date other people, see where that goes. Right. Mm-hmm. And let's say your wife, girlfriend, whatever says, oh, wow, I was thinking the same thing. And that sounds like a good idea. Let's explore that. Look, see how your mouth turned up?
But I'm possessive myself in general. I'm a possessive person.
But okay, so let's get to that. Can you not have that dynamic?
No.
For instance, yes, why not?
It's because it's mine. Even though it's not mine.
That's not what I'm saying. You can have a dynamic where you say, look, okay, I want to be seeing other people. Maybe you want another female. Mm-hmm. You want to bring that female and you want that closed. Can't that be an option to where it's like you just have two females and nobody else does anything else?
Nope.
That is something that does occur. Honestly, I think it's bullshit. I'm just gonna be honest with it. I get it. Adults are capable of having the relationships that they want. They do not have to give a shit about my opinion about it. Like, you know what I mean? If everybody is consenting and agreeing to it, then who the hell am I? But I think it's bullshit. I would never agree to that. I'm very much what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Mm-hmm.
No one makes decisions for me about what I do with my body and my dating time and all that stuff but me.
I like
so
it.
You never arrive to the scene and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and you're going to be restricted in this way. That's an immediate move on. No.
But there's a lot of people in the poly world that kind of do that. They say, look, I want to be polyandrous. I just want to be the woman. Now help me if I'm saying these terms wrong. I want to be a woman with two men, right?
Now that does occur, and it does happen. And like I said, if the people are on board, then they're on board.
Okay.
So that's very much a conversation. So poly is very like customizable. You can do what you want, and as long as you're accurately communicating the terms to the people that you're interacting with and they're agreeing to those things, then it is what it is. Me, myself, personally, I just don't engage in relationships to where there's an expectation that someone outside of me is going to make a choice for me about how many partners I have, who I interact with, who I'm open to, who I'm not. Like, I don't do that.
I got you. But I do, those things should, like, just like any relationship, your desires, your wants, your needs should be communicated beforehand, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to bring somebody into something and you're like, look, I don't like
that. Does happen too. And that does happen to where like people make all of these, especially couples, they make all of these rules for the relationship before, like, if they're looking for a third, quote unquote, before the other comes in. And now this person is like subject to all these rules that they had no hand in creating, because they were made, out of them, so they're in this relationship structure with all these rules that they had no hand in creating, and now they're subject to, and some of them are uncomfortable and they don't really have a space to kind of advocate for themselves for that. So I am not a person who's a big proponent of unicorn hunting or the couple looking for their third. It causes a lot of problems in our community, And while I recognize it as a valid relationship model, and like I said, everyone has a right to pursue whatever kind of relationship they want to, so long as it's consensual and, amongst adults.
Yeah.
But I am not a big fan of the triad unicorn hunter. No, not at all. And
I think the verbiage is bad. Like, the verbiage sounds so bad. Like, I'm a unicorn hunter. Like, that just sounds.
But it's perfect. You're looking for the dream. How can you find the one person that's going to be perfect for your relationship you already have established? And
that's why,
know what you want. Yeah,
it's like finding a unicorn. Yeah, if you find that one.
I don't like the word. The word.
Women love unicorns. They shoot rainbows. Or maybe not women. Maybe the gays love unicorns. They shoot rainbows.
Why? So I want to talk a little bit about you for a second, if you don't mind, and whatever level of comfortability you are at, you just let us know. So when I watched Poly Love, basically it was about your situation with your husband and the female at the time that you were interested in, engaged in a relationship in. You guys were enamored with her. I think from kind of like setting the tone, you guys are no longer with that individual.
No, we haven't been together since, I think the documentary was shot in 2015, and we haven't been together since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. So as I'm following you and I'm following your page, I want to say that I respect your transparency.
Mm-hmm.
I respect your situation as far as putting it out there about you and your current husband and your relationship, and being honest and not trying to put a certain fake face on it, like everything is okay, and using that as a vehicle to help yourself and to help others. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it's not on Netflix, love. It is on Amazon, by the way. So I want you to talk a little bit about that. And the reason why I want you to, because I'm almost certain people will say, oh, this marriage is where it's at because of Poly. because of the non-monogamous part of it. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about that, what you're comfortable with, so that we can kind of, clear that up, because that's, I almost am certain that's not the reason. Relationships don't break up because of those things.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. And it's very funny that people think that, because I'm always like, when people think that, I'm like, so I'm assuming you're talking about the fact that my husband and I are separating, which is very new. So we've been together for 16 years. It was 16 years this year. We're currently separating, which is, it's very new. It's maybe like a month and a half old that we've decided to do. Well, more like maybe like we're coming up on 2 months that we've agreed to do this. It is amicable. So we're friendly. We weren't fighting. Like, it wasn't like we had this like really tumultuous relationship before this happened, and now it's like coming to an end. Polyamory did not have anything to do with it. And I often tell people, when people say, like, well, maybe if you guys wouldn't have done that, you would have lasted. I'm like, okay, I don't know if the reason why we made it to 16 years is because we did polyamory. Like, we might have broken up 3-4 years ago because, we didn't do polyamory and we just decided to be monogamous with each other. And so while me and my husband love each other very much, we get along very well, we're still attracted to each other. All of those things are true. But that's not enough to make a relationship work. And the reality is that a lot of our primary relationship needs, neither one of us provide for the other person. So, and we've existed that way long before we did polyamory. Long before we did polyamory, that was always true. But because we're good people, we enjoy one another, we get along, like, we were able to sort of work around that, So, and now we're just like, or rather it was more him, I'm gonna be honest, it was more him. I still wanted to work it out. He didn't, but he very much is now in a space where, and now I'm kind of getting to that space too, to where it's like, I think as we've interacted in other relationships, one thing I will say that polyamory does is it does show you what you really want out of relationships and what you don't. And, when we got together when we were completely different people. So we had completely different ideas about life, about relationships, about love, about what we wanted for our futures to look like. Totally different. And now we're in a completely different space. And I think as we've gotten to know each other or know ourselves better, we're just kind of in a space to where we're like, maybe this container that we've set up for each other just no longer works anymore, and we need to change the structure. So, like I said, it's calm. I'm sad about it, because I very much, loved my husband, loved my marriage, wanted to be with him, until the end. But like, I'm at peace with it because, and one of the things that I haven't learned through polyamory is just not feeling this necessity to cling to people. And to like have your grips on them and no, you will not leave me. You will give me this relationship that I want from you. I've learned to kind of not do that.
You make us sound like evil beings. Like we parasite.
You have to give me the relationship that I want. You have to be with me in this specific way. Like, in doing non-monogamy, you learn to kind of let go of your relationship. So like when you're having those thoughts of like, what if this person causes this person to leave me? You go, okay, well, what if? Like, you know what I mean? And, so you sit with that. Or, what if this person finds someone that they like more than me and they want to be with that person? Okay, well, what if? So you kind of sit with those things. And so you learn how to release your relationships a little bit more.
So can you ever truly love someone with that aspect? Can you ever truly love somebody how we describe love with that mind frame?
Yeah, that's so funny to me because we never ask parents. So now that you've had a second kid, can you love the second kid if you love the first one? Or that you never ask the person. You never ask the person.
Always has a favorite kid.
Say you have one friend and then you get another friend and you say, okay, well, you can't love the first friend because you got the second friend. And so clearly we don't do that with any other form of love. Except this one.
So you don't think that parents have favorite kids?
But that's not the question you asked. No. So, and that's the perfect example you just made, Evita. So we feel like we can give multiple love to everybody else, but romantic. We can love our mother, our father. Now, of course, yes, yes, we have people that we may have more of a connection with. I'm a perfect example. My mother and my father. I love my father, but me and my mother are like this.
Mm-hmm.
With children, yeah, you got a child that all does what they're supposed to do, like for me, and I got one that's just the damn. I don't know where he came from.
Don't talk about
but
it.
That doesn't mean
my boy like that.
That does not mean that we don't love them any less. We still love them because if not, well, with children is a little different. You can't let them go. You got to keep them. But with other people, we can let them go. But the thing about it is that for some reason we feel like with romantic love, we can only love one person. Like for instance, I have a boyfriend that I had way back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a love for him. But do I want to be with him?
Mm-hmm.
No. You still have a connection with these people because you were tied together. Now, going back to what she was saying about love, people think they stay together for love. That is not where you stay together, because you can love a person when you're long gone. You can love a person when you're not together. You can love, love is still going to always be there. But
I hear what you say, but the way we describe love in a marriage, you should be together for love. You should work on
why you can't be
love.
together for two people?
Not saying that sometimes
people get married for all kinds of reasons, which is why it's so funny to me when people get married for money, people get married for convenience.
Well, yeah.
People get married out of obligation. Like, people get married for so many things that even this concept of marriage is for love is weird to me, because I'm like, marriage is for whatever you want it to be for, and it's, between you and this other person.
And that is true in the broad sense of it. But like, I'm talking specifically
but love
people that
does
get
not
married.
keep marriage together, because I can love my husband all day long. But if he doesn't treat me right, if he doesn't give me those things that I feel are essential for me to grow, for me to thrive, in that sense, and that's different for each individual.
But love is what make you stand there and try to.
But love,
that is not true. There are people that stay together for 50 years and there ain't a drop of love in sight. But
no, they might not love each other in the fact that, I want to sleep and hold you at night.
No,
but they love.
Like, they will not love
they
a
have
person
developed
at
over those
all
50 years.
in any way. But their sense of obligation, their desire to not want to be alone, what their codependency. There's a lot of reasons why people engage in relationships, and they're not all love.
Well,
that is the reason.
Well, if you stand for that, you need to leave.
But no, it's true. People stay because they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to get better. They're going to do better. This person keeps saying, I'm going to do better.
But that's love that make you stay and watch and
that is correct. But
not all the time.
It's and I get what you're saying. In a way, you know what? I see. I'm listening to both of you guys. I understand what you're saying. But then in a way, I'm kind of more on what she's saying. Love makes you stay a little, but more so what makes you stay is you don't want to be alone. You feel like you've invested so much time in this individual. That's really the big percentage of it. Because once you get tired, you're going to get tired. And the thing about it is that love makes people a fool. That's why people stay. No, really.
No, I agree with you.
That's
love
why people stay and
get
get beat up. That's why people stay and get mentally abused.
People just slow.
No, I mean, you understand. No, they're not slow. It's just that they're.
I think they got knocked one too many times. Well,
don't pay
brain ain't quite firing the right way no more.
No, usually in that case, there's some kind of mental illness, which is not slowness. This just, or there's some kind of like self-esteem issues. It's extremely hard to leave an abusive relationship. There are people that are very, very, very intelligent people, but in that way, they struggle. It's not just being slow. No.
I totally agree. It's a lot of different things, but that's what we have to understand. Like, let's talk about a little bit about maybe some people that are watching and this is something new to them, or maybe, to be honest with you, some people that probably been in the game for a minute. Does this repair relationships? Does being monogamous repair relationships? Opening your marriage.
No, she answered that quick.
No, it can. I do know people where that has been the case, but that's more of an anomaly than it is the rule. Actually, non-monogamy shines a blindingly bright light on all the problems in your relationship, your existing relationship, if you entered into it from a coupled space, because many people into it not from a coupled space. So if you enter into it from a coupled space, non-monogamy can actually shine a blindingly bright light on like all of the things in your relationship that weren't working that you could just kind of sweep under the rug, because there's a lot more wiggle room to kind of not deal with that stuff in monogamy than there is in non-monogamy. So no, like when people go, you know, we're going to do this to fix our relationship, I'm usually like, because your relationship is going to get kind of like, well, at least in my experience, and then most of the people that I've interacted with, obviously there are different people who have different experiences, but your relationship gets a little rocky in the beginning because you're transitioning to a new paradigm, which is scary, you know? So if it was already shaky, it's probably going to get shakier still. So like when people are like, oh, well, let's just be open and that'll fix our problems, I'm like, Plus, I don't really think it's good to be interacting with other people from a space of, I'm doing this to heal this thing that I have going on with somebody else. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that sets you up to not really treat people very well, because you're treating them like kind of like objects, you know, that you're gonna like, you're treating them like tools. So this relationship with this person will help me fix this other thing that I have going on over here. But that usually is not the case.
So I want to open the floor. If anybody that is watching have any questions, you can message us. If you want to be anonymous, you can also just put it in the chat and we'll put it up. So I have a scenario that someone actually sent to us that I want to bring out to you.
Yeah, give me that.
Oh, what you need? Oh, I'm sorry. He wants some more alcohol. Okay. So, okay. So someone wrote into us with a letter stating that it was, you know, it's them, a husband and a wife, and the husband kind of felt inadequate in a certain way as far as sexually, and they decided to let the wife know that they wanted to start introducing, I guess, like a swinger lifestyle, so to speak.
Okay.
He did not tell the wife this. He literally just said this is what he wanted to see as a fantasy.
Okay.
So they got into it. And then the wife kind of mentioned that this wasn't really her thing. Random sex with people wasn't her thing. And then she decides poly would be a better fit. So everybody agreed to that. But later on in conversations, because I guess if you're knowing your poly situation, of course you got to work out a whole bunch of kinks once you move to this poly situation. You got to work out jealousy. You got to work out how you feeling about seeing your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend talking to other people, exchanging photos. You got to go through this whole process, because initially you were monogamous. Now you're not monogamous, and you're going through all these processes. So in that process, the husband at that time divulged that this is the reason why he first introduced, I guess, the swinging as a part of the dynamic in the relationship.
Yeah.
And the wife was hurt. How can you move past that situation?
So he introduced the swinging because he felt inadequate in bed, or because she was inadequate in bed?
Because he felt that way.
He felt inadequate in bed, and so he wanted to swing to sort of boost his own ego. Well, honestly,
well, he claimed that it was to because he felt the wife wasn't satisfied, and he did it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think that's first of all, that's a little strange in the first place, because I feel like, why wouldn't you talk to your wife about that and like have an open conversation about that, and then like work together to like figure out what could be done to satisfy them? Because it definitely sounds like he was more on board to do this than she was, where she was kind of like, I'm not really that into this. So like, I feel like he created this solution to fix this problem, but it wasn't really the right solution, because like she wasn't really into it. I could see if she was kind of like, you know, asking for it. But so that's that piece there. But personally, like, I think a lot of people don't realize that you can engage in the form of non-monogamy that you want to. So like, say the wife wants to be polyamorous and that's what she wants to do, but the husband is not already all that interested in that and is largely interested in swinging, then he can just swing, like, you know, and she can be polyamorous, and they don't have to engage in the same form of non-monogamy, like, you know. So as long as they're they're, you know, consensual about what they're doing and everything's above board. Like if he's like, you know, I'm not really that interested in having multiple partners and she wants them, then they can just engage in different forms of non-monogamy. When my husband and I first started, that was sort of kind of our situation. I mean, obviously not the thing about the inadequacy part, but I was very, swinging was super easy for me. I really enjoyed it. I love to fuck. And so which I don't know if I can say that on this word or not.
Yeah.
You can say anything.
Whatever you want.
Okay,
You love the curse words.
So like swinging was like great. I was like, this is amazing. Like, you know, my husband on the other
When
hand.
you say swinging, you mean like, you know, because, you know, lay person, people say swinging, we go on these parties. I'm just going to have sex with this person and go throughout the house. Then when I'm done, I just walk around the house and wait for the next swinging party.
Similar, sort of,
okay.
kind of. I mean, that's part of it. There's also, you can have like, so I've had swinger friends where we may not interact at a party, but I'd call them up and be like, hey, are you free, you know, in a couple of weeks for a fuck, you know, and they'd be like, yep, sure. You know, you go, you hit them off, you break them off, and then you go home. So it looks like a variety of things. But it was very comfortable for me. But my husband really struggled with it because he does not like just having casual sex with people that he's not emotionally connected to. He can, but it's just not his favorite thing to do. So he struggled with swinging, and that's why we actually got into polyamory, because he's like, you know, I would rather interact with people that I'm forming emotional bonds with. And initially I was like, I was like, this is too much. No, I don't want to do this. And that lasted, I think we tried it. It went horribly. And so we tabled it for 6 months and then we got back to it. So in the beginning of my non-monogamous journey, I considered myself largely sexually non-monogamous. So I really didn't have a desire to have any emotional connections with more than one people, and just largely kind of wanted to have a variety of people that I had sex with. Now that's changed, but like, had I had known what I known like then, what I knew now, or if I had been me that I am today, like back then, I probably would have been like, okay, well, you go do that and you go find you know, partners that you connect with and, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm going to be over here just swinging, you know, because that was largely what I was interested in. I wasn't really interested in having emotional connections with people. I kind of just wanted to fuck.
So what made it, I mean, hey, fucking is good.
Oh, I'm not.
But what made that switch to poly?
Honestly, it was him doing it. So, and when we got into polyamory, so I'm bisexual. So when we got into polyamory, I wanted to have the experience of having a romantic relationship with a woman. So I've slept with plenty of women, but I'd never had the experience of actually having a romantic relationship with a woman. And I wanted that experience. So we got into it going, okay, my husband and I have drastically different tastes in women. And so I was like, okay, you go find me someone for you. I'm going to go find me someone for me. And, you know, never the twain shall meet. And so that's how we got into exploring polyamory and like having actual relationships with people, because I was just tired of just having sex with women. Like I wanted to experience like actually having a girlfriend. And so that's how we got into this portion of non-monogamy. And then we met our partner at a swinger party, like, you know, ironically, the person that you saw in the documentary.
Right.
And that's how that relationship started up. But we got into it because I wanted the experience of having a romantic relationship with a woman. And so we just opened it up that way. But initially I was very like, like I was like, fucking is easy. Like I was like, you go, you have a good time, you come home. I was like, all of this other stuff. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So
let me ask you this. Being bisexual, do you feel like having relationships with women are harder or men?
Definitely women. Cause y'all.
Honestly, it's a different kind of hard. So I don't feel like having a relationship with men or women is hard. You just deal with different things. Now I would say I don't don't know. Like, I always say all the time, like, I'm like this close to swearing off cisgender heterosexual men. Like, I'm like this close to being like, just no more. I can't.
So
There's just too much.
to our audience, because let me tell you.
What she said just now?
Cis. So people don't know what cis hetero is.
Oh, yeah, cisgender hetero. So cisgender are men who were born in, or they were assigned male bodies at birth, and their gender identity correlates with the body or the gender that they were assigned at birth. So they were assigned a man at birth, and they feel like their gender identity is a man. So
like,
I'm a
every single boy born.
Pardon?
Well, because, and you know what? So let's just put this out on the table here. A lot of people have a lot of problems with all this identifying situation. And now, okay, so hold on, let me back up a little bit. Miss Sawyers, this is probably a different platform that you're probably accustomed.
Oh yeah, I know.
We did good tonight, though. I think we both did very good.
And no, and I'm not even talking about us. I'm talking about the viewership.
Right.
Oh, I can.
So that's why I asked you to explain stuff, and that's so most. I'm not gonna say all, but maybe most of our viewership are like, what are all these alphabets? Why do we have to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to say cis hetero? Like you just said, hey, that's what I thought we were.
But that is what you literally are assigned. The way it works with science, you're assigned your gender by your.
But you gotta understand that maybe they are a man, but they identify more as.
And that comes with time when you develop. But when you come out the coochie, you're gonna be a man or a woman.
But you gotta understand that when you're dating, you're trying to meet somebody, you're looking for a certain thing. You put those labels on it so that you can identify who you are to a person that may not be into that type of thing, or they identify who they are, so you'll know. Like perfect example. I was in a group one time, and this person came in a group, and I looked at the picture in the video, and I'm like, "Hey, girl." No, I mean really.
How you doing?
And then when they did the introduction, they said, "Hey, my name is so and so and so, and my pronouns are he, him, whatever." But I respect that. If that's what it is, we're gonna say that's what it is. And I never made a mistake again. But for me, if I want to be called, like my name is Aaliyah. If I want to be called Leah, fucking call me Leah. Respect, put some respect on that.
I agree with that completely.
Thank you. So let me put some respect.
But to my point, whether you agree with it or not, if you are a person that just say don't put a gender on any kid and pick what they want to be, that is okay. Whatever. I'm not against that. I'm just saying from a standpoint of science, when you're born, we call you male or female.
But I think people make a big deal of it. But
we do accept. It's not like in the world of science. And I understand this that we're not working healthcare.
Right.
And it's kind of like a thing like, oh, these healthcare people don't respect us.
But
they
even
just give us labels.
Is moving to the different labels and things when you do demographics and different things like that.
But at the end of the day, if you're born, I mean, call you a male or female is not just as simple as us scientists. Well, I'm not a scientist. Us healthcare workers picking things we want to call you. It comes down to what we do to you after you're born. Medicines you can take or can't take. Procedures you can have or can't have. I mean,
that only designates the parts that you have. It doesn't designate your gender identity, your gender expression.
Yeah, gender identity is a whole, but gender identity is totally separate than what we call you as a male or female.
And that's fine.
That's how you identify.
But we're talking about two different things. We're talking about what I like to be called and identify as versus what I was born. That's totally different.
I wasn't talking about that. If you want to be, I don't care if you want to be called that.
At any rate, like I was saying.
Sorry. We just went on the tangent.
I struggle with dating cisgender heterosexual men because they just come with a lot of shit that I have to wade through. That my very queer ass does not want to have to wade through. So,
just look.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
Exhibit A.
Exactly.
Exhibit A.
Tell the audience some things you deal with people like me, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm an open person.
Most of the people that I engage in relationships with, these aren't conversations that we necessarily have to have because they kind of come already equipped with this like baseline knowledge. And because of the work that I do and the way that I show up in the world, I'm extremely queer. And so I like people coming to me with a kind of like baseline knowledge about queerness and queer identities and how it operates and that kind of thing. And also, I find that a lot of cisgender heterosexual men are really entrenched in these like really funky gender roles that I don't really subscribe to. So it becomes a challenge. It really does. So it really
I feel like they're not open. They're not open to a lot of things. And it's not because they don't want to do it, but because society told them, okay, perfect example. And guys that are watching, women that are watching, okay? This is the one that gets on my absolute fucking nerve. Okay, so
I'm gonna have to do it. You know, I love
whatever.
You off.
So it's a guy, right? Let's say he's with his girlfriend and he likes to be pegged.
Oh, I love to peg.
Okay.
Not doing it, take it back.
You're not doing it. Anyway, so he likes to be pegged by his girlfriend, right? Most, I'm not gonna say every, most men put him in the category of being a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is not true.
It's not at all.
It's totally not true. I agree with you. But it's like one of those things. But I take it back. I'm take it back. Get rid of and it's just that's just one of those things. Just not something that me myself and society just is not hip though. It's like you like people in your booty hole.
And that's fine.
So,
but you can't say that this person is gay because they like to be plugged.
Yeah, the only thing that would make them gay is if they wanted that to be done to them by a man. And even then, I don't necessarily believe that makes a person gay. They could be bisexual. True. They could be trisexual. I knew a guy that was like that. He was like, I'm largely heterosexual. He was like, I only identify in being in romantic relationships with women. I'm attracted to women. But he's like, but when I want to fuck, he's like, if there's an available hole, I'm going to take it. So, and he really wasn't the way he was. So sexuality is this huge cornucopia of things, but we paint it in these very limited boxes. And oftentimes I find that a lot of cisgender heterosexual people have just not done a lot of work to like explore those boxes. They're not interacting in those things.
I don't want to cut you off, but why it's called cis?
Yes, it's hetero.
Now, do they name it that just to pluck our nerves?
No.
CIS.
So why is it?
It's just the designator. It says that you're a cisgender person, and honestly, there's necessary because I know a lot of trans people that will not date cisgender people. They refuse, and I get why, but they don't. So it's just saying that your gender identity and the gender that you were assigned at birth matches up. Like I'm cisgender. I'm a cisgender woman. And then heterosexual means that you're attracted to the opposite sex. So I interact with cisgender heterosexual men because they're attracted to women and I'm a woman. But there's a lot of things that I'm like, oof, like when I think about doing it, I'm like,
because they're so close-minded. They're so close-minded. Like I'm not gonna. Well, I won't say that on this show.
I think the older generation, like. People like my father's, yes, closed-minded. I'm not closed-minded at all. I grew up.
So why not get paid?
Huh? No, that's not. That's I don't want that. It's not to be closed-minded because I say no, I don't want that. I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. I don't necessarily like that's fine. I don't, someone your body is yours. If you definitely know that something is just not going to appeal to you sexually, you have there are definitely things sexually I have no desire to do, and I'm okay with that. I think it's some of the other ideologies that I struggle with or I have a problem with. So I'm just like, why do we have to do this? So
one of the problems that I have is that women or females are
somebody still got bad audio?
We got bad audio? Oh, echo. Do we have an echo? Did you hear echo with us? Evita, is it an echo when you hear us?
No, I don't hear an echo. No. Do you hear an echo with me?
No, absolutely right. Okay. So I feel like people put women on a pedestal in society where we're supposed to be more sexually explorative.
Well, I see like women. I was even talking to my girlfriend the other night, and women y'all can do what the hell y'all want to do, and no one judges y'all. A man, even if a man was open, a heterosexual woman is going to judge that man as being gay just as bad as
correct. There's a
us
stigma
men
to
judge
where
men.
if a man is bisexual, we're as women
Yes,
like.
So I don't think that's a what you call it, cis man or whatever y'all, whatever
It's a
mean
society
name.
thing.
It's mean name, y'all. But yeah, women are just. I think women are actually worse, especially black women. I can't speak for other race, but black women are terrible. I got a friend who's bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
You a black woman bisexual? I don't want you. You gay. You just don't want to admit it. It's instantly. It's no black or white. No gray area.
No, you're absolutely right. In our community, we do have a big stigma on gay men. You know, it is what it is. But, I mean, no. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. What I mean by sexually, of course, I'm not going to be with a gay man sexually. But what I'm saying is a bisexual man is what we have a problem with.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, gay man ain't gonna be attracted to me. That's
exactly.
why I said that.
You like,
right.
Oh my God, no, I ain't touching you. You gay.
In the black community, we have that stigma.
It's a big problem in the black community. I've even had black bisexual women who will say that about bisexual men, and I'm always like, but you're bisexual though. Like how? Like, so it is a big problem. It's it's homophobia. It's a lot of homophobia. It's that belief that if a man is attracted to a man, then it automatically invalidates his manhood. He's not manly enough. He's effeminate. All of these things. It's misogyny. There's so much stuff behind it that, it's a big deal. So, and I won't date women who say that. So if I'm dating a woman and she says something like, I don't date bisexual men, or that's an automatic, that's a deal breaker. I'm like, okay, no, we're done. Because I it's very much a mindset that I don't agree with at all, and I'm very strict, and I speak out about a lot. Is just being able to allow our black men to be bisexual. There's nothing wrong with black bisexuality in men. And then just kind of opening up, like I said, our explorations around what we think sexuality is, because if you're a man and you like to have your prostate stimulated, and you're having a woman that is stimulating your prostate, and you're having this amazing anal orgasm with a woman, why does that make you gay simply because the play was in your butt? Like, it's so bizarre.
I totally agree. I just think that the man, I'm going to use you, for example. I think you're scared to let your inhibitions down.
No, it's not even fair, sir. It's not even fair. It's the fact that, like y'all said, society has certain things. So I was.
Well, who would know? But the person you was with.
I would know. The pride doesn't start with people you know.
He said he would know.
Pride doesn't start because my neighbor knew I got paid. But pride starts on the inside. Like that's not what from a man perspective. That's a surrender. That's a weakness.
Why? Pleasure is weakness.
I mean, I'm not saying pleasure is weak. Pleasure is happiness.
Exactly.
No, I would not put pleasure in weak. Nonetheless, doing that would be a sign of weakness. Now, whether you want to sacrifice that and test the water,
that's really the problem. Like she said earlier, the masculinity part, and not being, letting your inhibitions
it's only
out.
A problem if it's hurting the person that's decide to make
it is a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem on a societal level. It's not bothering you because you're on the other side of it that doesn't get the ire. But if you have a guy who's into pegging and wants to do that with a woman, now people are, demonizing him and saying that he's gay. It's a problem for bisexual men. It's a problem for a man who just wants to go get a pedicure and not go in the locker room at the gym and have people talk shit about him because he went and got a fucking pedicure. Like, patriarchy is a prison that we put around men and women. So, like, y'all don't be living y'all free lives because of patriarchy because y'all too busy worried about somebody calling you a sissy.
True.
So, so that's why I be like, why do y'all uphold them walls? Because it's a prison for you.
That's me personally. It's not a prison for me because you already know I'll go quickly get my toes done. Pretty cool.
But that's kind of
I don't care. That part don't bother me. I'm just saying from my standpoint with the pegging side of it is if you do that, you're surrendering your. But I'm not gonna call you gay. I ain't calling you gay. I'm just saying you in a position of weakness, the position a woman supposed to be.
But what
and I know that sounds. Wow. And I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds like I'm literally just telling you. I'm telling the view of a man's perspective. I'm not telling my view of it. If a man, if you like, believe me, if you like that dude, hell, get your nut best you can. I'm saying from a standpoint of a man, like that is the way people view it. That's the way we view it as men. Oh man, okay, you got bent over backwards, dog. The dildo up.
Well, why we gotta see you got bent over backwards? Maybe he didn't get bent over backwards. Maybe he was on the back.
But that's just the view of, that's what men are going to talk about in those locker rooms you talk about.
Oh my God, I can't. Okay,
we with my pretty toenails. I mean, that's what we talk about.
Okay.
In the bar shops.
Anyway.
And that is part of the problem is that, men have these unexplored masculinities and, these very, very rigid kind of restrictions on what it is. And because of that, it limits you very greatly to living your full human life. And so, you may not want to be pegged and you may be fine with that. But I guarantee you that if you were to really sit with yourself and just go, let me just sit down and think of all the things that I don't do, not because I don't do or don't want to do them, but because I don't want to be perceived as weak or womanly or feminine, you probably come up with quite a list.
And so somebody just said, one of our viewers, because we have not read a viewer comment the whole time, but it says that's how men view it. Toxic, that's not how men view it. Toxic masculinity views it that way.
Right.
I'm a man's man. What can I say?
Well, toxic. Okay.
Somebody posted something about the other day, a man's man.
What's a man's man?
And it was like, just admit you're gay. It was something like that.
Just admit you're gay.
It was some post on Facebook. I saw it have me cracking up. I was like, a man's man. Like, oh, what's this?
See, that's the kind of thing like we're saying.
That's funny though. It's just a funny meme I saw the other day.
So we are approaching that time. And so I want you to be able to tell us what's going on, what you're doing. What's the next thing you're doing? Your handles, your Facebook page, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, how people can reach out to you. People want to
follow
your page.
And so if it's somebody that's interested in non-monogamy, I believe they can still do counseling to kind of figure out maybe, hey, is this the direction I want to go? Or whatever. Counseling, let's not call it counseling, coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit what's going on.
So my Instagram handle is Lavitaloca 34, and I post generally every day, most days of the week, a polyamory reminder. It'll just be like a little, tidbit of advice on how to live this way, how to navigate difficult emotions, how to deal with jealousy, that kind of stuff. And then my page on Facebook is Evita Sawyers. And I also do the same thing, post the same thing that I post to Instagram there. And then that's where you can book time with me. So I do individual sessions. So if you were like wanting to explore non-monogamy, but not really sure how, I can help with that. If you're already doing it, but you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I can help with that. I also do couples and multiple partners sessions. And so I mediate and help people with those as well. I will be speaking at the Dallas Millennium Conference that is coming up November. I believe it's the weekend of the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so I'll be speaking at that conference. And so that is just a variety of speakers talking about all kinds of polyamory topics, kink topics, sexuality topics. They're mostly people of color, mostly speakers and teachers of color. So that's nice because a lot of the public non-monogamy community is very white. So, yeah, it is. And so, but this conference, they really, really focus on having as many presenters and speakers of color as possible. And so, like I said, that's called Dallas Millennium. It's virtual, so it's online, and that one's coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then I think that's it. That's all that I have coming up as far as different things. I usually people just kind of pop in like you did and we're like, hey, I have this thing, do you want to be on it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So, and so that's generally how it goes. So, but Lavitaloca 34 on Instagram and then Lavitaloca Sawyers on Facebook is how you can kind of keep up with what I have going on. And then, like I said, schedule time with me or get some of my services.
Awesome. I honestly, we're always looking for good people to come on. Our podcast has evolved to such a point where I don't know if you're going to agree with this. And you can say, yeah, that's true. You'll
ever say what you want me to?
We have evolved to such a point where Yes, we sit around, we drink, we talk, we laugh, we have a good time. We talk about politics, we talk about sex, we talk about love, we talk
vote.
Oh, definitely vote. But I feel as though too that we owe a little bit to people to inform them on stuff that they normally wouldn't be privy to.
Mm-hmm.
That they normally wouldn't come into contact with. Because I'm an advocate in, even if you don't adapt something for yourself, for you to know what something is so that you can expand upon your knowledge and that you can know if something comes up like, oh yeah, I heard of that. Oh yeah.
Who doesn't want to be that person in the room that knows a little bit of everything?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally that person. I want to know a little bit of everything. Even if I don't adapt something for myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah.
I know about that religion. I know about that lifestyle. I know about that. And so I feel like even though we drink, have a good time, and do all this stuff, that we should take a part of this podcast to inform people.
And you know, we've had conversations with a lot of non-monogamous people.
Yeah, we
in
had
general, but this is the first time.
This
is the first time we have somebody who was knowledgeable on I can tell you do presentations and speak to people, and you're more informative.
So the first time we had relationship goals, and they came on and pretty much just talked about their experience, about their relationship. But this was a little different because you were really like talking about the terms. You know, what's going on. So this really helped our audience to understand a little bit more.
Even though we disagree on some things.
I mean,
that happens.
What was that name again? Because that says, I'm telling you, that name,
cisgender.
That word is made to insult the men. I'm gonna tell you, try to make us mad.
Honestly,
even though
it's not a mean word. It just says that your gender identity and your gender at birth was assigned that they correlate. That really is it. So like I always tell people, if you're having some negative feelings about it, like that's something that you have to examine, because it's not a curse word. It's just like saying not transgender or bisexual. It's just a label. So it just kind of lets you know what a person is.
I examine nothing. They purposely chose that word
to do what?
Be front of it. Old cis man. You old sissy man. That's what they're doing.
No, because they call women cisgender. Women are called cisgender. I'm a cisgender woman.
Yeah. Women have come to that cis.
Look, Thursday. I am cis. Oh, Patreons. Thursday, I'm gonna come back on this. But you got to pay $5 at least a month to see the show. When I come back on this, come on, get on this.
So let's make a special announcement. So, like I said, the 26th. Yo, when I start drinking, all these like details just come together. Okay, so the 26th, we are having the lady on. That's great.
The lady on.
Hold on. Yeah, that's why I have my stuff right by me, because I ain't playing. Yes, we're going to have Dominatrix Mercedes, a.k.a. Blondie Got Perks on the 26th. What I want to ask her to do is a special Patreon that she is directing me and the producer on how to dom.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting.
That would be hella fucking interesting. Huh? You didn't agree to that. You're right. I just pulled that out my ass. But we're going to do it.
Well, apparently a stink. The producer don't like it.
Or can you do me? You gonna do me?
No. As that guy, you know, I gotta step in. You know.
So you want me to do him?
He don't want to kill a fly on the wall.
Oh,
you gonna need to be in there.
You don't know him.
You need to be able to step on his dick, like twist the balls.
Oh, he letting you know.
Don't be laughing. I done been with them at the hotel when they was getting on across from me. I didn't see no dominance.
No, listen. Honestly, I'm gonna ask her if she wants to do a special Patreon to watch me being dominated by the producer. So if you guys want to be privy to that, you're going to have to go over to www.patreon.com/Tipplers Loose and subscribe for what? $5 a month?
Hell, I'm going to subscribe. I'm gonna watch from a view. I'm gonna be standing back. Ooh, be like, okay.
Subscribe for $5 a month. Now I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what I'm gonna have on. I don't know. We're gonna see.
I mean, he might say nothing. He's dominating. He's dominating you. You better listen. No. I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna go.
They ain't gonna dominate. It just came out.
No, I don't want to be abused. Don't call me a raggedy bitch.
Don't you want to be consoled? Oh, cry. You're a woman. Just cry. This is what y'all like to do.
You sexist pig.
Now, pigs are cops. I'm not a pig. Apparently, I'm a cisgender. Wherever it comes from.
Y'all, so if y'all want to partake in that, go over now and subscribe so you can get that special content. We also do a live Zoom every
Thursday.
But we're not doing it this Thursday, right? You got something to do, right?
Yes.
We're
gonna do it Wednesday.
So we're gonna
spice it up. We're gonna change it up. We're gonna do it Wednesday. Hump day. In fact, I want y'all on that Zoom having sex.
Oh my.
Yes, we can have competition. We can like who can make your woman yell the your woman yell the loudest. And then since I'm obviously mean and we're gonna see who can make their man loud the yellers next,
Hold on, y'all the yellers.
You
must be the yell too much.
Lord, yell
the yellers. He said who can make
yell the yellers.
Y'all the yellers.
I give up.
Y'all the yellers. Okay, so Wednesday, y'all, we're gonna do this live Tipplers Uncut, where we talk all kind of shit. We talk sex, we talk all kind of stuff, and partake in it. Mm-hmm. So just go over to our website and
you're welcome to join. We'll give you a free pass to join.
Look, she's like, I don't want to be.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, you know what? I want to say, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like, you could have easily said no. And I get sensitive at this part of the show because people don't have to do nothing. You know what I mean? But for you to actually like pay attention to this chick that's like just randomly message you, I greatly appreciate it. You could have went somewhere else and said, you know what, forget this girl. We're gonna go over here. But for you to come on and talk about your journey, talk about and give us your knowledge and inform us. I am forever grateful. Yes. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for the opportunity.
I enjoyed the hell out of you too. Even though we went at each other a little bit, I enjoyed it. But that's what I liked about you the most. The point that you said, "Hey, this." I enjoy that feedback. That banter. I love it.
That's what we do all the time.
And you don't get a lot. We have a few people on that just be like, okay, I say something, they be like, oh, I don't know what to say about it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not good at keeping my mouth shut when I think of things. It gets me in trouble a lot. But no, I appreciated the opportunity. I love talking to you both. I love talking about this and spreading awareness and having these conversations. And also, like I said, being a Black voice that is talking about these things, because it's really hard to find, actually. It's getting better, but it's still a little hard to find. So I enjoyed being here with both of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, you should follow her on Facebook and on Twitter. And the reason why I say that, because I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of her, even if you're not poly or non-monogamous, a lot of her stuff applies to just relationships in general.
It does. I tell people all the time that non-monogamy is just basic relationship principles on steroids. That's all it is. Like it's regular, like relating is just ramped up because you have more people. But a lot of the concepts are things that you can apply whether you're polyamorous or monogamous or whatever.
Perfect example before you go. I just want to read the one I think you posted today. Hold on. I saved these.
Stalker much?
I'm stalker. Okay. No, I'm stalker. Okay. Why you gotta pee in the middle of the show all the time?
Know, Black don't do what they used to.
So today's polyamory reminder from you was it's important to get past our hurts from previous relationships. So we don't look. Why am I holding these glasses like they're real?
I was going to say that.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me start over.
Oh, they're not real reading glasses. That's right. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? Yeah, I'm feeling good. Okay, hold on. Okay, shoot. Okay, so today's polyamory reminder: it's important to get past our hurts from our previous relationships so we don't find ourselves interacting with our current partners as if they are our former partners that causes pain. That is a perfect example of something that's not necessarily a poly fundamental, but also a mono fundamental, because we do that all the time. Something happens to us in a previous relationship, and we carry that over to our current relationship when we're getting to know someone, instead of just taking them for who they are and getting to know them for who they are. And yes, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have it in the back of our mind, because of course, all of our experiences help us grow, help us learn, help us be better. But we cannot hold what someone else does to us on a relationship.
Another person. Yeah. We can't hold another person. And honestly, when that happens, even if like the exact situation is happening to where like this person is doing like an activity that this other person did, they're still a different person. You're still a different person. And if you spend your time back in the past kind of stuck in that trauma loop, then you're just going to keep perpetuating that same cycle of having that happen, because you won't be able to relate to the other person as if they're a different person. And you also won't be able to relate to yourself as if you're a different person, because you're not the same person that was in that scenario when it happened back then. And so it's really, really, really important that we're like bringing our awareness to the now, you know, and staying present in our relationships with people, so that we're not reliving old trauma with people that were literally not even there. Like, you know, it's like, I wasn't even there for this. And I'm getting the backlash, you know, from this thing that happened that I had nothing to do with.
And I think being transparent and honest helps too. Say, look, this is how I'm feeling.
Right. Or this reminded me of this thing. You know, I have a lot of sensitivity around this.
Right.
You know, can we talk about that? Or can we work on, you know, changing so you don't show up that way? You know, so that I'm not, you know, finding myself feeling these triggers or getting, you know, scared, or, you know, like I said, you know, getting like activated, you know, by this thing, because it mirrors this thing that I went through, but in the past that was very hurtful for me.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So this was a general relationship post for me, and I appreciated the knowledge. Sometimes we have to be reminded of that, whether we've been married for 20 years like me. Fresh relationship of 8 months for you. Mm-hmm. Did I get that right?
You got a good memory. On the 8th month.
Or wherever stage that you're at. These are good tips. So follow her, guys. Everything is down at the bottom of the screen. I don't even know if you were drinking tonight, but
I didn't know. I'm not much of a drinker. I prefer other forms of altered states of consciousness.
Hey, if it was legal where we were,
you know, I don't partake in illegal activities.
So yeah, I do. I absolutely do. So, but I'm not much of a drinker, so I don't drink very often. I do occasionally, but it's rare. So, yeah.
Again, thank you so much. We appreciate you gracing us with your presence. Again, guys, follow her at the links there at the bottom. Very informative. Are you talking something? Oh, yeah. So we'll talk about that. November 16th, we'll be at Bang Back Pinball in Columbia. Y'all, I can't be saying all this stuff when I'm drinking.
Yeah, you know. Rewind, rewind to the beginning. Said it perfectly.
Okay, thank you. Are we leaving now? Or are we supposed to dance? That's what.
Yes, we're supposed to dance.
Putting the Tipplers loose on a Monday. Let's make it so fun day. Drinking, talking, laughing, tripping. That's what the Tipplers are all about. Pour your drink, sit back and relax. Right here, Monday, 7:30 is where it's at. Tipping the topics. Come on, let's go. Let's dive in. Enjoy the show.
Join us next week on Monday.
This is the first week of Thanksgiving. First week of Thanksgiving. You know, October is Halloween. November is Thanksgiving. December is Christmas. Yeah, first week of November, Thanksgiving month. Turkey month.
Well, that's what you can say.
Well, no, I mean, most people catch on. Like you elevated them all the way up.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for having me. You have a wonderful evening.
You do the same.